Music has changed. How it makes us feel never will. The time is now to visit amstudios.co.za. Brought to you by Old Mutual.
Hi, I'm Mac G, and this is the AMP Studios Creative Industry Podcast, a series of masterclasses that are designed to help you build a business in the music industry. Proudly brought to you by Old Mutual. AMP Studios is a free culture hub facility situated in the heart of downtown Johannesburg in Newtown, with world-class recording studios, co-working spaces, video facilities, a stage, and streaming facilities, all free and designed to help young artists build a career in the music industry. If you'd like to be a part of the AMP Studios or check out all the masterclasses and content we've created for you, just go to www.ampstudios.co.za or send us your name to our WhatsApp line on 081 707 6636. That's 081 707 6636. Spotify is one of the most important streaming platforms on planet Earth. Join us today as we hear from Claudius Boller, who's responsible for Spotify on the African continent. This is a rare treat in that he shares insights from a strategy and trends perspective into what they're looking for as they help to grow local markets across music and podcasting platforms. Baramini, welcome to yet another Amped Masterclass by Old Mutual. And today's episode is very, very special to me because we're going to be chatting to the managing director of Spotify in the Middle East and Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Claudius Boller.
Thank you very much, everyone. I also give you a big applause for making this effort joining here. And let's get going.
All right, Claudius, thank you so much for joining us. Can you talk us through the Spotify model?
So Spotify really transformed the music listening when it started in 2008. And we believe it has influenced very much the music industry and how music is being not just listened, but also distributed and also monetized. So our mission is really to unlock the potential of human creativity by giving creative artists the opportunity to live off their art, more and more of them, and also by giving fans the opportunity to enjoy and be inspired by these creators. So we're really trying to focus equally on consumers, on your fans, and equally also on creators, on artists. So far, we have now about 60 million tracks on Spotify, and it's growing by the minute. As you might know, we have about 320 million active users per month on Spotify, with about 144 million of those actually paying subscribers. So Spotify has two models. There's the free tier. Most new users actually enter through this free tier and enjoy Spotify for free. There is no charges associated with this. And then we also have a premium tier where you can pay as a subscription. There's different plans. We can talk about it later and different options, how people can pay for it. And different offers. And when you start paying for Spotify, you literally don't have advertising interruptions anymore. And also you can use the offline feature. That means all the world of music that you love, like playlists that you follow, can be always at your fingertips in your pocket. And there's a bunch of other features as well once you become a paying subscribers. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, as an artist, how do I get my music on Spotify?
Well, that's pretty simple. You send us a tape via mail. I can't hear you all laughing about it badly. Of course, that's not the way. There's no way to upload your music directly on Spotify. And the reason for that is that we want to be a platform for everybody and treat and serve everybody equally. And therefore, we're giving everybody the same opportunity. So what you do is you might either be on a big record label or a small boutique record label, and they will serve your music releases to Spotify, or you go to an independent distributor who will do the job for you. And it's really your choice how you do this. So they will do all the licensing, distribution, and they will also pay you. So we don't pay artists directly, as we are paying those distributors. But you can pitch. This is a good thing. So we kind of work with all artists directly through Spotify for Artists. And you can pitch your songs to us. You can use our technology and our data and our tools that we provide. You'll see then your music is being picked up by the platform, and you see how through Spotify for Artists how it travels literally.
I heard you mention Spotify for Artists. Can you please unpack that? And also let us know how it benefits creators.
Super excited about this. Spotify was one of the first platforms that actually put the power of the art and your productions in the artist's hands by giving you access to all those important and relative data you want to see. I mean, you spend so much time in studio producing so much creative aspects and nuances you're putting in there. And of course, you want to know how it's working. I spent, to some reflection here, I spent a couple of years working for Universal Music Group. And I remember like we were going through royalty reports and artists were like, just like waiting and seeing like how is my music doing. So the beautiful thing now is that through Spotify for Artists, you can know yourself by signing up to Spotify for Artists. You can use it through desktop, you can use it through a mobile app which you download from your Android Play Store or the Apple App Store. It's free of charge, so no hidden cost there. And then you can literally see in almost real time how your music is performing across the world with a lot of interesting nuances. And we encourage artists to use this tool more and more to better understand and learn about their audience. You'll see like what type of music is performing better, in which region is performing better. And so Spotify for Artists gives artists also access to discover similar artists. So you could identify, oh, that's interesting. That guy also makes great music. So it's kind of like stimulates potential collaboration. You see the number of real-time listeners. You see the song performance data to a lot of aspects that will help you make great and better business decisions. And again, you don't need to be signed to a big label to have access to that data. Every artist that has their music on Spotify through a distributor or whatsoever has access to Spotify for Artists. Also on that platform, you'll find lots of interesting guide videos on how to do things. We even have some top A-list artists talking to you how you can actually work with Spotify for Artists. Really want to encourage all of you to check it out.
Fantastic. So now once I've got access, how do I manage my profile on Spotify for Artists?
You probably all know Facebook and Instagram, and it's more easy. So, and the good thing is, the more time you invest in Spotify for Artists and checking it out and updating it from time to time, the faster you grow your fan base. And there's the monetization happening through Spotify, which I guess we also come to in a bit in the session today. On Spotify for Artists, every artist has a profile, which is kind of your own homepage that you can update with a new picture. You can even have your favorite playlist that you can put there, plugging your own music there, or just music that you like. Your fans might want to know, okay, what inspired this artist and what inspires him right now while he's working on new music, for example. And also virtual concerts, by the way, that you list them there. I want to share one experience. I'm originally from Germany. I left Germany about 14 years ago to spend more time in Middle East and Africa. Been coming and going to South Africa since about 14 years now. And the cool thing is I went back to Berlin once and I discovered on my Spotify that tonight there's a concert of an artist that I like, which is Jeremy Lukes. And I was really surprised. I thought it was really cool. So yeah, I went to see him at the concert there. So make sure your stuff is there. There's even a way how you can actually start selling merchandise there. If you have a shop, an outlet and distribution, of course, this is what all the big artists do. So you can utilize this. Yeah, so that's how you do it with your profile on Spotify.
Now tell me, what role is Spotify playing in the broader social media environment to assist up-and-coming artists?
Up-and-coming artists, I think we are very, very new artist friendly, where we are trying to not be biased and just look at, okay, what are the usual releases that are happening and promote them big on the platform. And also want to wipe out one of the assumptions that I hear very often is that, well, you have great editors, meaning curators at Spotify, that create probably some of the best playlists in the world because they have so much data, so much information about which are the tracks that are actually like performing very well. So, but the perception that's there is that those guys in Spotify that do the playlist do this all day in and day out. The reality is they're very much data specialists as well and try to understand, like in a human symbiosis, human with the machines and the recommendation of what is the music that is going to be programmed in playlists. And therefore, it's more about trying things, giving tracks a chance and jump-starting them here or there. So again, it's more about understanding the data and how a track performs. To give you an example, let's say you have a home track that has kind of reggae elements in it, right? That track wouldn't find seamlessly its way into a reggae playlist that's trending in Latin America, for example. It needs the human creator to figure that out. So, oh, that's interesting. Let us try it there. Let's plug it in there for a ring and see how it performs. What you want to achieve is that you link also your social profiles to Spotify. You can do that. So when people go on your profile, they see, okay, here's the link to their Instagram, etc., which is quite important because we're supporting you and building your fan base, not just on Spotify, but also on the other platforms. And we're picking up data, like the more noise there is on your socials around your music, the better our algorithms understand, okay, there's a lot of noise. Maybe there's a new release from an artist, and helps to elevate your releases. It's quite complex. There's, I think, more than 3 billion data points a day that are being collected by all these various systems and platforms. But it's so interesting. It's not about the amount of data, but like what really is that data that makes a difference, and treating each track equally.
I hope you're enjoying this episode of AMP Studios Music Industry Podcast. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after these.
Old Mutual Rewards wants to help you take charge of your financial well-being. That's why we are rewarding you with points for having your financial needs met by Old Mutual. Points are earned on 5 tiers, which are determined by the number of financial needs met. Depending on the number of needs met with Old Mutual, the higher your Old Mutual Rewards tier and the more you earn. 0 to 1 financial need met by Old Mutual will put you on the first tier. Up to 3 needs met will put you on the second tier. With 4 needs met, you will be on the third tier. With 5, you will be on the fourth tier, and 6 or more needs met will put you on the fifth tier. Once you know which tier you are on, it's easy to work out how many points you will earn. Here's how it works. Each tier comes with a set of percentages that apply to different kinds of financial needs. Once you have determined which tier you are on, simply apply the corresponding percentage to the premiums you are paying towards each financial need, and you will get the amount of points you will earn. To see the full table of tiers with their sets of percentages, please visit www.oldmutual.co.za/rewards. If, for example, you contribute towards an Old Mutual funeral plan with a monthly premium of 100 Rand, as well as a tax-free savings plan with a monthly premium of 1,000 Rand, you will be on the second tier as you have 2 financial needs met. According to the earning percentages for the second tier, you will receive 30 points per month simply by taking care of your financial future. It's always important to get financial advice when deciding which financial product solutions are right for you. Visit www.oldmutual.co.za/rewards to connect with an experienced financial advisor who will guide you on the path to your goals. Sign up for Old Mutual Rewards today and let us help you achieve your financial dreams.
Welcome back. Let's get back into this week's AMP Studios Music Industry Podcast. We're living in a time where people are very sensitive about their data. So how is Spotify using that data in promotion and discovery as well?
So, okay, data, I just want to be careful, what we're talking about when we talk about data. So we're talking about mobile data that you have from your telecom provider, because that's a serious issue in South Africa, very much, right? It's very, very expensive. But we're talking about the data that we actually discover about an artist and about the artist's music and how it's performing. And we're serving that through Spotify for Artists. You can see it in real time on the Spotify for Artists mobile app. We actually have artists that check in it 20 times a day. When they just kick out a new release, they want to see how is it going. So that data, you can use that to make better business decisions, because it'll tell you, you'd be surprised to see in which country or just even in which city actually your tracks are doing very well. We had a chat with Metallica some years ago, and they were saying, look, whenever you go to concert, we just look at the Spotify data and see where is what type of music being favored, which of our tracks, and therefore they create the set list for that. So Seattle, for example, they just want more of the hard songs. So maybe open with Nothing Else Matters and then go more to the harder things. But that's just one area. You'll also see where your audience is, and therefore go to your touring manager or company or promoter and talk about, well, I think I have a huge following. We had an artist saying, we have a huge following in Durban, but you never presented the opportunity that we can actually go and do a gig there. So you use that information to make better decisions. At the same time, what you could also do is try to find new audiences in new countries. So literally on Spotify, there's no borders. You're talking to a global audience of 320 million people, out of which 144 million today are paying, and it's going to grow. I mean, over the last few years, we had roughly a 30% growth in our user base. So therefore, if you kind of stimulate with paying a few bucks on Facebook marketing money, or whatever, you choose the platform where you market your music, why not promoting it, let's say in France, and then just see how it goes. put a few bucks there and see how it performs. You kind of jump starting then your track in France, if you just use France as an abstract example. And then you see the data and say, okay, well, it's interesting. And if you advertise in 5 countries, you see in which of these 5 countries your track is actually performing better. And therefore, you'll make better decisions on what are you focusing on. Oh, and a very, very simple one, I should have mentioned this first, is if you release an album, you want to know which are the tracks that are performing best out of your album, and therefore make your decisions on how you are actually investing your efforts and your time when you produce your next album, because you know what's going to fly, you know much better. And things become less subjective. Let the data tell you. And again, trial and error, just try it out. It's very, very simple. It's easier to use than lots of other social media platforms.
And tell me, how hard or easy is it to get a track featured on a Spotify playlist?
Well, so it's there's no secret sauce to it. We have our team of editors looking at new releases. So we are very much into new discovery. We're super keen and looking out for that. The good thing is you don't need to try to call someone, because even if you know someone in Spotify, they won't be able to help you. Also, it wouldn't be fair for everybody else. So we thought for years and have been involving for years, like, what is it that we can provide to an audience equally, that serves the audience equally? Because we want to discover those hidden tracks. So in a certain way, you can compete with Drake and Rihanna with your track. The next Despacito or Gangnam Style can come from South Africa with no doubt. And I think the stories that we see with Nasty C being signed to an international label, and we put him on a New York Times Square, New York billboard, actually tells this. This is not because he's a great guy, because he is a great guy, but it's not because the label, we're working a lot with that label actually to make that happen. It's really about the music. So if his music is trending and getting a lot of traction, the rest will come seamlessly. So how easy is it to pitch a song? It's you use it through Spotify for Artists. Make sure also, that's a recommendation, is that you have, before you kick out your release, before you publish your release, give it ample of time, like 3-4 weeks. Make a plan on what you want to put out there on your social media. Have some images, some stories ready about yourself and about the release. And then think about what is the information that you release, not just on the day, but like throughout this time. And before that, you submit it via Spotify for Artists, and you pitch it through an editor. It's very simple. You can put certain text there. This is about this and that, hashtags and so on. And then our editors will pick it up. You can even choose a certain territory that you feel could be interesting. As I mentioned, if reggae elements in there, you can say, oh, guys, you could check it out. Maybe it has to go in a reggae playlist, or maybe it would fly very well in Canada or France, for example. So that type of information, pitch it to Spotify for Artists, and we'll have editors then picking it up and trying it out. With trying it out, we mean they try not to be biased and subjective. They're all music experts, but they listen to it and see, okay, that is an edgy track. We'll give it a chance to put it in a playlist. So you might not see it immediately on New Music Friday trending #1, because it takes a few days for a track to pick up and to tell also our algorithms if it's good. And again, it's not the editors who say, oh, that's a good song, because they are off as well. They might think, oh, that's going to do well. And then they still see a track, look at the data. Oh, no, it's actually not performing that well. And the other way around, they're very surprised. Jerusalem, for example, some might have not expected that this becomes such a super phenomenon. So pitch it to Spotify for Artists, and then tell a little bit of a story about this. And use your social media channels as well, your audience, to promote it.
Cool. And I want to touch on a subject that I hear like almost every single day, but till this day, I don't know what they're talking about. What are streams, and how are they counted?
Okay, streams. Streams is literally a play of a track on a digital platform like Spotify. So we're counting streams. Fans look at like, okay, look, this track has so and so many streams. Artists look at, okay, I achieved so and so many streams, etc. On Spotify, we're only counting a stream if it's more than 30 seconds, which kind of means, okay, a fan or a listener has listened to the track, he's understood the track. And that's what we're counting as a stream. We are also counting the streams in the offline mode. That's important. But we're also using the streams to determine kind of the market share of each artist. And based on the market share, meaning what share they have of the total plays, the revenue that's being generated is being distributed equally to the distributors and labels, who then pay the artists. right? An important point to mention is that on the free tier, we're absolutely trying to maximize the monetization and the payout through doing really strong premium advertising with top brands in the tech scene and fashion, lifestyle. You see them advertising on Spotify. So those revenues are also in the same way distributed to artists. So it doesn't mean that if somebody is just playing since 2 years on Spotify free, that this doesn't generate any money. This money is being paid out. And for your information, so far, Spotify has paid out 19 billion euros to the creative community.
I heard you mention Master KG, Nasty C, Jeremy Loops. How else is Spotify helping to promote local and African artists, to the globe?
Well, I'm so excited about it because we have really outstanding success stories right in front of us, but there's also like thousands of smaller success stories that are surrounding this. Just by the nature on what I explained, how the digital system is set up. Now, let's say an artist in South Africa releases a track, puts a little bit of noise out there, maybe has some interview coming to Amp Studio talking about it, and there's the following picks up on it in a very short period of time. Then the algorithms see, okay, there's a track spiking and there's a lot of noise on viral, meaning on social media, which is also connected to Spotify. Then other algorithmic playlists will also pick it up. So we have, for example, viral charts, which is a dynamic playlist. So there's no editor managing it. It just picks up on viral inputs, which tracks are trending very much. Like in the top viral tracks in South Africa, if a track trends very, very fast and ranks high, then even a global viral top 50 playlist could pick it up easily. And this is also how editors look at the data. So we recommend always to pitch it and to pitch for playlist inclusion, but this is kind of a way. So just by the pure nature of how Spotify is set up, since we launched in South Africa 2.5 years ago, we have seen more and more examples because now you have your fan bases in South Africa that you can activate to drive the traction within a very short period of time. So that's just like one important element on how your music can travel, not just travel the world, but kind of conquer the world. Then the next element, what we are trying to do is very much not to just pick a handful of artists that are already big and give them to a world stage. We're really looking at all stages where artists are in and giving them opportunities. One opportunity is our Radar program, which is a global program. It is a global playlist as well. And we are supporting artists to be entering into this global playlist. By supporting them on the ground, I think with Elaine, we've done a merchandise drop. So we gave her some great Spotify Elaine co-branded merchandise that she gave it to her fans and so on. You might want to think about the global audiences as well. Think about a subscriber on Spotify in the UK is roughly paying 3 times the amount for a subscription than in South Africa. So put an outlook there. See how can you actually reach to people across the world.
Cool. Now, it's no secret that piracy has been a major issue in the music industry. How is Spotify combating that?
Yeah, it's interesting because Spotify, as a Swedish company, literally started when piracy was rampant, or just before that, it was absolutely blooming and kind of reduced the revenues of the music industry because it was so much more convenient to go to piracy. But now, since we have Spotify for free, anyone can start using right away that has a smartphone. And therefore, there is no need to go to piracy because it is such a better solution. On Spotify free, you have full access to the 60 million plus tracks. All the same amount of music and tracks are there. The same 4 billion plus playlists are there. So I think that just by the nature of how Spotify is set up and how convenient the digital ecosystem now has become, it already contributes a lot. Plus, it's not convenient. I'll give you one example. The playlists that you have, they keep on updating seamlessly. Whenever you're connected, playlists keep on updating themselves, the ones that you follow. So let's say you follow some top 5 artists that you like, and also you have some artists of some friends that you follow that you have kind of subscribed to, right? Even on Spotify free. Whenever you're connected, they're being updated seamlessly in the background. That you don't have it with piracy. You will always need to manually look for the next thing. Another point is that we are very much against exclusives. If tracks go on exclusives, you're excluding a huge audience of fans of yours that want to listen to your music. So this is why we encourage artists to actually make their music available as best as possible on all the digital platforms. And through Spotify for Artists, you can work directly with Spotify to be at the forefront, then speak to your audiences, to your fan bases about where to find your music, where to follow it, build your following there, so that in the future, none of your new releases are being missed. And I want to acknowledge that in many countries, there hasn't been different options. So there was no way for music to just like flow easily to the ears, especially for new music. But now there is no time for piracy anymore. There is no advantage for piracy anymore. But it needs a lot from all of us to educate the audiences there.
That was part 1 of this AMP Studios Masterclass. Tune in next week to hear part 2 on the AMP Studios Music Industry Podcast, brought to you by Old Mutual. Hope you're learning a lot and loving the series. Please subscribe right now to make sure you don't miss out on more. And if you'd like to see videos or access more content or even use the AMP Studios facilities, or maybe you just want to be part of our AMP Studios journey, go to our website. That's ampedstudios.co.za, ampdstudios.co.za, and sign up there. You can also sign up by sending your name to our WhatsApp line on 081 707 6636. That's 081 707 6636.
Music has changed. How it makes us feel never will. The time is now to visit ampstudios.co.za. Brought to you by Old Mutual.